Hello, my beautiful souls. You're listening to the Ruby Garnet Show. And I'm your host, Ruby. At this very moment, I am literally trying to avoid ice. Woo! I am on the go a lot. It's kind of a problem. But, maybe one of these days I'll have a nice setup. I'll have equipment. It is certainly my dream. Oh, one day, just one day. But if you're new to the channel, hi. If you're not new to the channel, welcome back. At this moment in time, I have 21 subscribers, and I all thank every one of you because I literally, the only reason I keep showing up is because of you guys. But basically what this show is, it's mostly about spirituality. There's tarot, there's dream analysis, symbolism, emotional wellness stuff, listening to great spirit. There's stuff. It's just, the reason it's called Ruby Garnet Show is just because I saw other people making really cool names that really resonated with the channel, and I got to a point where I'm like, I'm just too Sagittarian to be able to do that. And that's also too a self-esteem issue, so don't worry about that too much. But I was like, So a lot of it is bubblegum propping of myself and my just trying to feel better. But I always try to also to kind of role model stuff for you and talk about real shit with you guys. Because very often, we are kind of looking at other people and think, oh my God, they must have their lives put together, right? Because when I first was pregnant, I was very turned off by other women who had these beautiful, ideal lives. They were going through their mama stories, right? And I wanted to cry because I'm like, well, I must be doing something wrong, right? Because they are having the time of their life, right? They must be. And a lot of times what we all kind of do agree with is usually the exterior version of things isn't really what's going on internally. When we're psychics, when we are going to the spiritual land of what the hell am I doing, we're very often confused, scared, just trying to do our best and hoping for the best, right? So I want to role model the truth. I don't want to lie and pretend. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm always tempted to put on a facade that everything is okay. I've deleted so many episodes because I was like, they're not perfect enough, they're showing me as someone who's imperfect and ugly and scared and just, I don't like this. I don't want to show them this because I don't want them to feel defeated by it. I don't want them to think that's the only thing that's available to their whole existence. And it's not. But something that God and Spirit have been trying to convey to me is you have to let things pass through you. And they're always saying, you have to be honest. You have to, be upfront with people. You can't be pretending to be something you're not. And I'm like, but God, great Spirit, who would want, and again, this is my inner self-critic, right? Who would want to hear something like this? Why would anyone want to listen to my message? It's not good enough. And Great Spirit would pause me and say, girl, this is why you need therapy. This isn't the main, but it does come up in the dream that I'm going to go with you on. It does pop up. It's actually kind of interesting how it pops up. So in my dream, I have my little boy. We're this beautiful big house, and we're trying to get inside, right? And we kind of do get access to part of the house, but not the full part of the house. They were really nice to let us in. But there was this point in time where I was like, ooh, I see this room. I want to go in. I want to go in there. And they're like, nope, you can't come in here. So I had to wait outside in the cold with my boy. I was trying to get him to kind of release something. I don't know what, was trying to get him to pee, basically. He's like, okay, kid, we gotta go pee. And usually pee and poop is usually symbolic of releasing something at the most core of it. So usually when I know right away, like if I have any bathroom dreams, I know I'm trying to release something. Give me a moment. One moment. All right, is this still recording? It better be recording. Yes. All right, sorry, my pretty souls. I had to pick that up. That was really important. And it happens, life gets in the way. It's kind of why I'm always on the go. But yeah, so if you consider pee and poop, I mean, they obviously functionally in our everyday to-day lives, they are very similar, but they also they release different things, you know, and they're connected to different parts of our body. Like, you know, obviously pee is connected to the bladder, right? And it's fluid, so it has to do with emotions. And poop, you know, obviously it goes through the stomach. I mean, they all do come from the stomach. But, I mean, you can always research online and Google what they mean. But for me, I think pee is definitely connected to emotions with how fluid it is. So usually if you're asking your kids to, in your dream, to pee, you're like, oh, I'm trying to ask my kid to release these emotions, right? There might be, but because I'm the one asking my kid to do it might be about control. It might be I'm uncomfortable with my own child's emotions, which is true, actually. But we're not going to go into that. That's a parent type thing that we could always talk about, emotional wellness involving parental stuff, but that's not going to be this episode, if it does happen. But and it's in the snow, right? We're out in the cold, right? But I think the snow is very pure. It's very white, and we were actually enjoying ourselves being out in the snow, which I think was symbolic. So my feeling state was, well, I'm in a calmer state. I'm in nature. I'm feeling more centered. And even though I'm asking my kid to do something about his emotions, I'm still kind of taking it easy. I'm still enjoying life. And snow is these crystals, right? And none of them are all alike. So in some ways, even though there's unity, there's individuality surrounding us. Even though my son is very much like me, he's very much an individual. And I thought that was a pretty good statement in that part of the dream. Now, this dream does continue on. There's different aspects of this dream. And there's even a part 2 of it. But I'm only going to talk about the part 1 because I feel like I talk a lot. I had the part 2. It's oh my God, that might have to be another episode because I had a lot of feelings about that one. But moving forward in the dream, there's definitely this lady talking to me, and it feels like I'm being given stuff, I'm being taken care of, but at the same time, I'm also not being treated very well, because in the dream, they're talking about, okay, we're gonna give you these vaccines, right? We're gonna make sure you get vaccines, which is protection. It's protection maybe against illness. It's to inoculate us against other people's energies, maybe even protection against an evil eye. And yet, though, there's a person that walks in trying to be all nicey, but she sits on me. She sits on me. And I'm kind of caught off guard by it, going yeah, I mean, you seem really nice. You're kind of talking to me as you're sitting on me. You're being nice, but I feel really weird. I feel really awkward, and I feel powerless with you sitting on me. So even though there's these people passing off these protections, I'm not actively using my power to say, hey, lady, get the fuck off of me. And it's oh, but, no. I'm no, this is a boundary crossing. You need to get the fuck off of me, right? Because when people are sitting, what are they doing? She's sitting in the lap, which is connected to our center of power. It's maybe not exactly on the center of power, but it is, because you have your root chakra system. You also, your belly has your, what's it called again? I knew it yesterday. My brain had it. The orange one. But then above it is your sacral, sacral. Yeah, that thing. And And so all these chakras are really connected to each other. And when we're sitting in this position, we're in a very awkward, vulnerable place, because if someone just randomly sits on us, it's kind of rapey, it's assaulty, because they're trying to repress our centers that all are interconnected to them, to having a voice saying, hey, I don't like this, get off of me, And so even though there might be nearby protections available to us, we can't get access to them because someone's sitting on us. We can't get up, we can't move, we can't say, hey, I want this, because someone is immobilizing us. They're preventing forward movement on our part. And sometimes our dreams are definitely connected to signs we may experience in the outside world. And I would say definitely in terms of this dream, I've been getting these same signs where I had a sign about someone wanting me to stay and not wanting me to go anywhere. And people sometimes put the evil eye on us without meaning to, quite by accident. And it could be a lot of good reasons behind that. It's because they want to go themselves. They want better for themselves too. But it's kind of like a competition, right? A dog eats dog world, where they think there's lack around us. And like, if you get that thing first, it's going to not be enough for me, right? If you leave, you're going to take all the good opportunities that I could get myself, right? And people do this sometimes. Like, we don't mean to do it. Like, I've done it before in the past, where I've kind of like held my cards to my chest, and I didn't want to tell people about opportunities because I thought there would be not enough around for myself. I mean, definitely it's karma to some extent. Like, I'm definitely getting my karma a little bit, but it happens. But we can't like not use boundaries and our assertive power that we all have and connected in our throat chakra. Like, we do need to mobilize our voices and say, no, I don't actually like that. You need to get off me. Get off me. And I just saw an image. It's this tarot reader where she spits on her hand and she moves her hand outwards. And she's like, you need to, send them off. Send them off. I don't remember her name. Maybe I'll have to find her name and then do a shout out to her at some point. I should do shout outs every now and then, because I think shout outs are necessary to a lot of psychic readers, because I do follow them. I try to also to do my own stuff, so that way I know, like, if there's a confirmation of what I am currently going through and it pops up in one of their readings, I can be like, oh, Great Spirit has a lot to say on this topic, because Great Spirit will reach out to us in any way they possibly can. And so this dream, okay, we're now at 13 minutes, so I feel like I have time for the second part. Yay for you. So it's kind of like part two, because yes, it may be interconnected, but it feels different. It really does. So basically, I suddenly become a younger version of myself, like very young. And I come across this boy, like this younger boy, and then we all get together at a table to basically like we're like, hey, is that, like, are you dream walking right now? And we're trying to test to see if the other person is dream walking, and they're like alert in their dreams. And I'm like, oh, and they're like, well, I'm reading this poem. And I'm like, oh my God, I love that poem. I've been trying to work on it it's taking me forever to read it, but I'm obsessed with that poem. And it's like this white poem book with these kind of like red vines, like not vines, but like veins going through it. I don't remember what the title was. I have no idea. But and then someone pulled out a business card with the same theme. And like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. And we all were like basically saying like, yeah, like there was the common theme of us, of going like, yeah, like we're really into this book. And I'm like, yeah, me too, man. And I felt really connected to all of them. Like I kept on trying to kind of like connect to them in many different ways. And my powers were coming alive, and I was checking up on someone else, someone next to me. There's 3 other people, and those 3 across from me. So like 3 and 3. And I've been getting a lot of 3 a lot lately, like all lot. And I usually see threes as about natural rhythms, but I understand, like, a lot of people could be like, well, it's a magical number. Yes, for what reason? Magical, natural rhythms. But usually, like, we all know, like, if you send out something into the universe, it comes back 3 times towards yourself. That's always in the spell work, right? Whatever I want, let it come back 3 times towards myself. So wherever you put your focus on, right, you're gonna magnify it 3 times. It's a natural rhythm for us to want something and to receive it. And so if you look at the dream, right, we have a lot of 3s. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, this is what I want, right? I want community. I want, because if we think about 3 of Pentacles, 3 of Cups, what is the commonality between these 2 different cards? People, connections. I mean, they're about different things, right? 3 of Cups is celebration. 3 of Pentacles is like networking, is maybe like you're going into a business venture with other people. You're working for a common goal. Very cooperative, right? So I would say cooperation for 3 of Pentacles. But it has a money tone to it. It's cooperation financially. But it could be cooperation separately too. Like, you know, it's like it's there. So there's this like, we're celebrating, but we're also too kind of like in unity. We're like, but we're separate. We're own figures. And it goes a little more, right? Because I told you there's something about, oh my God, my self-esteem issues. And so in the dream, I look at the boy and I said, you know what? This is kind of what happens is I'll talk to people and I'll want to get close to people, and then I never see them again. And that's probably what's going to happen is I'm never going to see you guys ever again. And I had a great time, but I wish you well. Yeah, there's a lot of feelings to unpack. So even at age 36, I'm still grappling with the same issues that I've grappled for since a very young child. Because I used to go camping, right? And I would make friends, and then we, boom, never had them again, right? And that was very difficult for me because I never felt like I had friends in general in my real life, you know, outside of camping. The only time I had friends was when I was camping. And so what I took from that and internalized was that whenever I actually do make friends, they're gone. They'll just disappear. I'll never see them ever again. And I know what you might be thinking. It's like, what part of me developing my psychic gifts is designed for all of this stuff? Because it seems too heavy. It seems too, like, real. It's like, I don't understand. Like, why is this important? And it's like, well, you can't actually be a psychic reader unless you're willing to go into the depths. You know, in the dream, give me a moment. Yeah, so the important part about connecting to your psychic gifts, you know, like water, right? The moon. We all know that the moon and water is an amplifier for psychic gifts, but also too, it's an amplifier for emotions. I remember working in mental health psych hospitals, and we all agreed on the full moon's natural talent of amplifying emotions. It's real. It's legit. It happens. And so we have to recognize, especially when we have a dream, like something like this, that is talking about these real life feelings, you can't keep on ignoring them. You really can't. Especially when they like have a wave coming towards you and it's cleansing, and then for a reason, like there's a shark in the water and they're kind of semi-friendly, and then one bites you and you got blood on your hands, right? And it's a literal like blood, right? And like, think about it, like, oh, I'm letting sharks near me. That means that I'm allowing myself to be victimized. People I allow people in my energy field to take advantage of me. But blood, what is blood? Blood is water too, ish, kind of, not really, but it's the color red. It's life. We can keep going into that, but like spiritually wise, it felt like a cleansing, almost like I had to release myself of all of these forces through blood by allowing something to die, saying like, nope, because in the dream I said, no, I'm done with this. Like, I went away from the sharks. I was like, I'm done with this. But I had that blood in my hands, and I was like thinking like, wow, this is what happens when you let people hurt you. And then in the dream, it turns and shifts to how the spirit was saying there needs to be a sacrifice. And I thought in my head, well, that means I gotta sacrifice drinking. And they're saying, if you don't take care of yourself, there was a space, right? Gone to spirit. All these blockages came up and saying, like, if you don't take care of yourself, the blockages will come in. I'm like, wow. And it's really interesting, too, because in my waking life, this dream got confirmed because I was listening to something through a tarot reader that talked about the next great wave and how I need to be ready for that next great wave. Isn't that fascinating? That's fascinating. I'm like, what? So, like, I need to get myself ready. How, though? Like, how do you get yourself ready when you're exhausted as me? Like, I kid you not, I work with autistic kids, and I love the job, but also too, like, it exhausts me to the point where I'm like, I don't have nothing left. And I do actually feel like I'm being taken advantage of, not by my coworkers, but like by the upper ups, not by my direct boss, who's the director, but the ones that are like higher up, right? And I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty about that, but I'm like, this dream is really confirming something that I've been feeling, that I'm allowing my need to please other people, and I'm allowing people to, one way or another, like these sharks or the people sitting in my lap, I'm being immobilized and harmed by staying, by allowing myself to be nearby sharks. Yeah. And that's real. That happens. This is why we have to listen to our psychic gifts. I know people want to go out there and be psychic readers for other people, but if you can't take care of the well first, and you can't do the readings for yourself and listen to the divine source for yourself, do you really think that you're going to improve your life? How can you? You really can't. I mean, like, a lot of readers, there's a lot out there who are doing great work helping other people. But it's really time for a lot of psychic readers to use their psychic talents to help themselves. And that's why this show exists as it is because I'm not here to tell you the future. I'm here how to show you the ropes. I'm here so you also too can see it firsthand, what it looks like when a psychic reader has to kind of like do this work, because Great Spirit's saying, you're going to do this. This is your mission. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And like, no. Every single time you do a reading, we're going to make sure that you go like, oh crap, it's Great Spirit's talking to me too. Fuck. Like, how many times do you think I did reading for other people and then Great Spirit snuck in something? It's like, how can I do readings for other people? I can't, because the well needs to be taken care of first. So I'm like, I can't always say clients because I have to take care of myself first. It's hard. It really is. But that's the honest truth. If you don't take care of yourself first, you can't do the great psychic work for other people. You can't. So if you're running into the problem where you are having a hard time doing readings for other people, start with yourself first. Great Spirit might have a lot to tell you on how better to take care of yourself. Now, we are getting to the end. We're at 24 minutes. It's really important for us to kind of wrap things up, to kind of maybe have like overhaul this dream. What do you think? this room was all about. I think the grand theme of it is that I want to be safe. I want to be around people. I want to be connected to people. And sometimes my insecurities, my fear, my vulnerabilities lead me astray. They're actually the blood in the water that allows the sharks to find me. But so that means I have to be more confident. That means I also do need to be willing to shut the doors to the sharks and be very selective into who comes into my life. And that means that it's okay to say, no, I don't like that. It's okay to also to recognize that maybe, just maybe, that people will come into my life that are good people and they'll want to stay in my life. That's totally okay. But Great Spirit is also just saying, like, yeah, it's time for you to take care of yourself. Like, you do need to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to have much of a life to have. You're going to continue being this exhausted. So that's a tough one to hear. But it's one that needs to be heard. I can't keep ignoring that. All right, I'm going to wish you all well. May me possibly, I'm into good health in Toulouse.